Today on Gettin Higgy with it. Alright, so when was the first appearance of the Yeti? The answer is 1921. Who knew, right? I'm Emily Duhigg and we're reviewing Timeline. Timeline is a simple game that involves a combination of knowledge, deduction, and luck. It's all about real events and dates and putting their cards in the proper order on a timeline. To begin, cards are dealt with their dates face down in front of each player. The number of cards depends on the number of players and the level of difficulty you want. One card is then placed with its date up in the center of the table. This is the starting point of your timeline. The rest of the cards are then placed as a deck with the dates facing down. The first player looks at the beginning timeline card and chooses one of their event cards. They then place it to either the left or the right of the timeline card according to whether they think it happened before or after the event. Once they decide on where to place it, the card is turned over to reveal the date. If they place the card in the correct order on the timeline, their turn is done. The next player does the same thing with one of their cards, but they have to place it in relation to both cards now on the timeline, and so on. If a played card is turned over and the date is not in the correct order, that card is discarded and the person draws another card to replace the one they incorrectly played. That is now the end of their turn. This continues until someone has correctly placed all of their cards on the timeline. End of game. What do I like about Timeline? Its content is interesting because it has some really obscure facts that you would never think to look up, such as when was the invention of the helicopter? 1825 in case you were wondering. Plus, since the level of difficulty can be adjusted, you can make the game as simple or as challenging as you like. The only downside of Timeline is that the cards are always the same. Unlike a game that is dependent upon strategy or dice rolling, once you've played the game long enough, you'll probably memorize a lot of the dates. So, it might be a good idea to purchase an expansion deck to refresh the game. As for our board flip meter, this game doesn't even register. If it does for you, then you might want to go back to playing Go Fish with your grandma. Finally, for our top 10 list of games that we reviewed so far, Timeline is going on the number 2 spot right behind King of Tokyo. As usual, like, subscribe, favorite, the whole shebang. Thanks for watching. I'm Emily Duhigg, and until next time, get Higgy with Timeline.
You got the yawn.
I do, I'm tired. Talking this much makes me yawn.
Stop making us yawn. Here we go.